and over the moon.
Welcome to the Landing Strip with Nick Lynham and Mikey Garcia, presented by From Financial.
Welcome back to the Landing Strip, brought to you by From Financial as the Winnipeg Jets squeak by the St. Louis Blues 3-2 on this afternoon in the rare can't win interdivisional game. The Winnipeg Jets decide to do just that. Eric Comrie wins his fifth straight, and boy, did they need him to be sharp at times in this one, and he answered the bell. Morgan Barron adds a couple of assists on this one. Hayden Fleury gets his first as a Jet and has a multi-point game. Also helps St. Louis get back in this one. We saw the highs and the lows with Hayden Fleury today. Mark Scheifele gets the Jets on the board on his birthday today. Mark Scheifele, another year older. Something to think about in the bigger picture of all these conversations. And Kyle Connor gets the game winner on a delayed penalty in which Morgan Barron stretches him for a breakaway, and he's not going to miss. Where should we go with this one? As not a great night for your tank commander, I'll tell you that. That is one of those ones I wanted to have. Mikey, how are you doing, buddy?
Well, we're gonna shake out the cobwebs. We're gonna give the Jets their due with our celebratory song here. So let's dance. Well, there you go. 2 games in a row. The Jets, swept the weekend. They're the big winners of the weekend. Absolutely crushing it. Adding these points. I've been told 2 points is 2 points, and that's the most important thing this time of year. So I'm really excited to take a quick look over at the standings to see how many spots they've been able to jump and move up after this 6-3-2 right now in the last 11. There must just be absolutely crushing it. It must be one spot out of a playoffs. How far out of the playoffs are we now after this massive weekend?
We've moved nowhere, buddy boy.
Oh, there's still 4 spots between us and wild card 2?
Something like that, yeah.
With multiple games in hand? Not for us, but against us? Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought for sure. I was told that all that matters right now are the 2 points and nothing else, right? Isn't that what's going on? No? Are the Jets not right in this playoff hunt?
Hey, 4 points as of this afternoon, if we pretend the San Jose Sharks aren't currently playing hockey and don't have multiple games to make up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. Would have been nice to lose a spot to St. Louis today and have them jump us. But at the end of the day, we find ourselves in the exact same spot we found ourselves Friday, just a different number in front of it.
Yeah.
So don't be too worried, especially when you watch the game. What watching today's game makes you worried a run's coming? What about today's game?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Nothing. Yesterday's game as well. I know we want to praise the effort and getting a win over Colorado in terms of just not looking at what actually happened. Is absolutely. If you don't watch the game, great, everything's fine. They beat Colorado, but let's be real, right? They got outchanced, outshot, outpossessed. Hellebuck stood on his head and won them that game yesterday. And then today you're playing a team that's tied with you at the bottom of the league. You're 2 of the bottom 5 teams in the National Hockey League. This isn't some world-beating series here that we're watching, some Western Conference final potential. This is 2 bad teams jockeying for a draft position. So they won. Kudos to them. Great for Hayden Fleury getting his first goal, I believe, in 800-ish days. I believe I saw 817, right? So that's awesome. Morgan Barron, great, awesome for him too. Isak Rosén, I believe it's also his birthday too. So happy birthday to the one of the newest Jets. So lots of little things that you can point to and say, great, good individual moments, which is what I'm here for, right? For the rest of the season, I'm looking for individual moments. Who's going to be a part of this long term? Who's not going to be? But yeah, I'm not worried about them going on a run. I don't think they ruined their draft spot today. They're still behind Nashville, who plays later on today, right? So it's going to be fine with, again, extra games in hand for Nashville. It's going to be okay. I think we can all step back from the ledge if we're worried about the draft spot. We're going to be okay. I promise.
As Sean Dog says, the Jets were not very good in this game or yesterday's.
Right.
They were doubled in shots, and now our goalies come to our rescue. Let's get in to the Anti-Tank Commander Award today. Mikey, who is your Anti-Tank Commander in this Winnipeg Jets?
Oh, baby.
St. Louis Blues game.
It is Big Save Benny doing his absolute best to help out the St. Louis Blues on their quest to tank. Great job, Benny. Absolute wonderful today. My God, does he stink. That was a rough one from Binner. Did everything he could to make sure that the Jets got out ahead early in this one. So he's my anti-tank commander for showing up. Great job, Benny.
2 goals in the first 3 shots. Hayden Fleury from the slot, beating you clean. A tough go.
Sniper Fleury.
Sick goal from Mark Scheifele, though, who makes Cam Fowler look like he should consider retirement with how much he beats him from the blue line in.
Yep.
And a great move. But big save Binner. Only one big save in my eyes, and it was that Scheifele to Iafallo.
Yeah.
2-on-1 look to keep it close.
Yep.
Definitely a tough start for Jordan Binnington. And you can't sell me the mystique of that guy. No. I just can't buy it. Nope. That guy stinks.
As soon as he doesn't have a world-class defense playing in front of him, he looks like what you saw today. This is the more common Binny. The one you see when he plays for Team Canada. That's, again, more of a mystique.
At Choices TK's anti-tank commander was Helly wanting Comrie to take this start. After the game yesterday, we saw Hellebuck was asked if he was going to pine for this start. And he's like, no, Comrie's been working hard for this. I could use a rest.
Arnie joked about that in the postgame today. He goes, well, my goalie gave up our starting goaltender today for the St. Louis Blues to scout ahead, so that was great.
Over on YouTube, Rihanna says, no save Benny is my anti-tank commander big time. Though why I expected more from him is beyond me. A real DFV's Comrie has been such a dependable tank commander so many times this season. It is a little weird to see him on Heroes Row as the #1 anti-tank commander. It's got to be Eric Comrie on this night. This one's an interesting one because I think through the first 40, obviously the Jets are up 2-0, but it felt like if this was just a game of puck possession, it seemed like St. Louis was very much dictating that side of the game, especially in the O zones. The Jets had a lot of trouble getting in and creating sustained O-zone time today.
Yep.
But I didn't find St. Louis all that dangerous for at least the first half of this game. Third period, that changes completely in that regard, where you were seeing a lot of low to highs right in the slot, Comrie making some big saves, a couple diving stops too, or blocks. But Eric Comrie, not only tonight does he keep this team in it and give this team a win, but that is now 5 games in a row for Eric Comrie. When you look at a tank and teams that tank for bad draft picks, normally, and you're seeing it with St. Louis, bad goaltending is a big part of it. And you want to be losing, especially your backup starts. In his last 5 games, Eric Comrie is 5-0-0. He's got a 6.77 goals saved above expected.
Whoa.
So he's stopping over a goal a game.
Massive.
For this Winnipeg Jets team over that stretch, and he's got a 946. When we're dissecting where this team finishes at the end, where we're going into that lottery with the odds that we have, this 5-game stretch from Eric Comrie is oddly going to really stand out to me. These are the ones you want to be putting away, maybe getting 1, maybe 2 of them. Eric Comrie has found a level here, maybe a bit of a contract year. Comms in the back half here as he approaches UFA for another time. But Eric Comrie is the Anti-Tank Commander Award winner for not only his role in today's game, but the last 5 and what that's going to mean in the standings come the end of the year.
And that's the longest run of wins for a goalie this season for the Jets.
Holy shit, I guess so, eh?
Yep.
Hey, goalie controversy?
That's why they've been playing Hellebuck so much. They know that they need to keep Comrie out of the net. He's been too good. He's just been too good.
Are we going to see a run of Comrie games? Is he coming for Hellebuck's job down the stretch here?
Goalie controversy. It's Halak and Price all over again.
Hey, we're fighting for the...
I knew you'd like that one.
Hey, Halak was better, though.
I knew you'd like that one.
Goalie controversy. If we're chasing a wild card spot, got to go with the hot hand, no? Comrie's got to get the next start, no?
Usually, common sense would dictate you'd run with the hot hand.
Let's go to Hayden Fleury first off the hop. First goal as a Winnipeg Jet. I was almost a little bit stunned when they announced that in-house, and then you sat down and thought about it. I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yep.
First goal in his last, I think it's 80 NHL games, 817 days between goals. Nice little play. This is one of those, we talked about this earlier in the year and didn't want to make the direct comparison, but one thing Morgan Barron does pretty damn well is when he has the puck in transition and he's skating, you see it on this goal, the Nick Ehlers thing, where you attack the middle and make those defenders address you. Both pinch up on him. He gets the puck to the outside to Brad Lambert, who makes a nice little touch to Hayden Fleury, coming in to that gravity created from Morgan Barron, and he rips open a shot. Beats Benny. Probably you want a big save goaltender to have, but Hayden Fleury beats him. Then he's a piece of, what was it, the third goal, where Barron stretches Connor.
Yep.
2-point night. 1 goal, 1 assist. Now, he also has, who was it there, the blue line, make him look really weak. That leads to a 4-1 for St. Louis to bring this to a 2-1 game. See the highs and the lows, but Hayden Fleury gets on the board for the first time as a Winnipeg Jet. What did you think of Hayden Fleury's game today?
Yeah, that was probably his best game. You want to say as a Jet, right? That was his most noticeable one for sure, both positively and negatively. But you got to feel great for a guy getting his not only first one of the season, but first one as a Winnipeg Jet and first one in 800 days. Absolutely crazy. That's got to feel good. He mentioned in the post game that pretty much every time he gets home from a game, his 4-year-old will ask him, "Hey, Dad, did you score a goal?" And every time he's got to tell him, "No, I didn't score." So this time the kid was there. He actually got to see it apparently. So he goes, "This time I can remind him that that I scored." So feel good for the Fleury as a person. That's it's good to see.
Yeah, can't believe it took that long, but
yeah, that's crazy.
Hey. And to beat an Olympian like that.
That's
big
right.
moment to tell the kid. Obviously, a bit of a trip. I'm not a big Hayden Fleury guy, but nice to see a guy rewarded. Also draws that offensive zone trip to create the odd man situation with the goalie pulled where Kyle Connor comes off the bench. Morgan Barron stretches him all alone. Kyle Connor's not going to miss from there, and that ultimately becomes the game winner.
Yep.
Some big moments early in this game and to seal this game from Hayden Fleury. Not something you'd expect on most nights.
Yeah, that's definitely not the one you'd bet on ahead of time, but it seemed to work out all right for Fleury and Bryson today.
What about Morgan Barron? We saw a bit of a quote. Let us know what Arniel had to say about Morgan Barron today, but like I touched on, makes the good zone entry, forces the D to react, helps sets up the lane for Lambert to find Fleury, has that stretch pass to Connor to send him in for the game winner. There's a play earlier in that one where I want to say it breaks down to a 3-on-2, 4-on-2, and he comes up with a blocked shot. We're seeing those little impact plays add up in Morgan Barron's game tonight. What did Arniel have to say about Morgan Barron? What did you see out of him? Let's keep her going that way.
So one of the frustrating things about Morgan Barron is that I think, a lot of us kind of see that with the right line mates, there might actually be like a little bit of offense to his game, right? We see some good skating. We've seen him do some kind of ridiculous things with the puck in close, especially with the speed. So it's always interesting when, you kind of watch the way that he's going and you go, man, is there something a little bit more there? Because even Arniel, in the post game, they asked him about Morgan Barron and just, what we've seen from him the last couple games, especially with that pass today. And Arniel said, yeah, it was great. Barron can do everything. He goes, but the thing with Barron is he knows his role, and that's defense first, and that if offense can come from that, that's great. because he has the skating to do it, but they're focused with him playing defense. And I get it, right? Because they have roles and guys are cast into those roles, and you got to play your role to make the system go, all that stuff. And their quote unquote fourth line is only supposed to be playing defense. That's kind of what they view out of them. And if they can get some offense, that's a bonus. That's the way they've always kind of talked about it in the media. And I feel like that's just a bit of an antiquated way of looking at it. I feel like you could maybe do things with Barron a little bit more, especially with the limited ice time that he gets, flexing him up on the wing on other lines, late in games and things. And
saw that again today.
And we saw that again today. But again, it was 50 seconds and it was for a faceoff, right? So it's just interesting that I think, he's got a big body. He can skate quick. He's got some decent hands. It feels like you could maybe use that in a different spot beyond, 4 minutes on a fourth line center role, but it is what it is.
Yeah, as Frosty Winnipeg points out, Barron has one less point than Taves, playing half the amount of 5-on-5 time. He hits a career high, 22 points today, 2 big assists on goals that he's a big part of. Obviously, I thought actually this was a better night from the fourth line compared to last game, but we've seen this team lacks speed in their middle six. Morgan Barron brings some of that.
Yep.
He makes the hustle plays. He's always going to give you an effort. We'll see where that continues to go. But, yeah, it seems like he is kind of pigeonholed in Winnipeg. But it does seem like there might be a little bit more, maybe in between. I don't know if he's a 2C that people are calling for, but maybe somewhere
hard to
in
say,
between a 4C and a 2C.
Right. I would even be fine, again, if it's a 2-wing, 3-wing, you know what I mean? Like if you have I'm
down to try anything this year. I just don't think he's a second-line hockey player.
Yeah, I just don't think he's your second-line center, right? He's not going to be able to fill that role, and that's what they need to actually be, It's just, I just would like to see him in some other scenarios sometimes, especially, again, late in games where you can – he hasn't played a lot, right? By the third period, he hasn't had a lot of minutes. He's fresh. You can put him up on a wing if one of the other lines – you're telling me he can't swap out with Gustav Nyquist for a few shifts? You know what I mean? I think he can. I think he can maybe play on the other side of Rosane for a little bit and see what happens there. I don't know, just an idea.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Another big night for what was used as their number one pairing at 5-on-5. Dylan Sandberg and Elias Salmonson crushed their minutes, end up with an expected goals of over 70. Elias Salmonson takes it to penalty, but mostly continues to look more and more comfortable, I guess would be the way to say, in his game. What'd you see out of those two tonight? What'd you think of today's number one pair in a tougher night for DeMello and Morrissey on the flip side?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see Sandberg and Salamonson emerge as the most played pair today. Is that a future look? Is that things to come for the Winnipeg Jets down the line? Right, that might have been a bit of a preview. And like you said, Salamonson continues to learn. Right, he took that penalty today, but he continues to also progress in looking comfortable at the NHL level, which is all I really want from the rest of his season. I just want to see him continue to get games and just look comfortable playing at this level, comfortable against other teams, top six. I don't need him to be a world beater right now. I don't need him to be taking over games this season. I don't need him to be the Jets' number one defenseman right this very second. I just want to see what we've been seeing is that each game you see a little bit more and that he's more comfortable out there. He looks just like any other player, any other NHL guy. He doesn't look like he doesn't belong. So that's, I'm real happy about it so far.
Yeah, we're seeing him now QBing the power play too, though I think that could use a bit of work in progress.
Yep.
Some of the passing hasn't been ideal.
That hasn't been there
yet. What those guys are looking to do. But the power play in general for both units, Jesus Christ, another tough watch tonight. That's become a dead asset for them as of late. But you're seeing that pair continue to learn off each other, work off each other. When one makes a mistake, the other guy handles it pretty well. And I think that could be the top pair maybe as soon as next year. Maybe you're looking at them taking tougher minutes next year and a Josh Morrissey eating a bit softer minutes as he gets older. Maybe that's something you start thinking about.
At some point, you do have to, hand that baton over, right? It's in the post game today, Arniel talked a lot about Dylan Sandberg, how he's kind of becoming a veteran now, right, on the team, especially with the way that injuries have played out and things. He's, one of your top 3 guys in the defense for, games played as a Jet. So, yeah, that the future can come pretty fast sometimes, and this might be, as soon as next year, you might be seeing a lot more splits of games where, this is the top pairing sometimes, and maybe it's Morrissey and Salo, maybe it's Morrissey and someone else. But you're going to be seeing, I think, this Sandberg, Morrissey, even out the minutes a little bit more next year than Morrissey having to play 30 minutes a game like he had to for certain stretches. On
that topic, too, Sandberg was asked about playing with Elias, and he had mentioned that he's even feeling a bit older now in the league, and that must have been how Pionk felt when he came into the league. So you're seeing a bit of that maturation process with the Jets decor here.
Absolutely.
Here's the problems, and Tony is completely right. Here's the problem with the 7x7. Good Lord, though, if Sandberg and Elias play together, JMO was playing with Pionk. Do we want that?
No, I wanted him traded a year ago. I forget about Neil.
That is the problem with the construction.
Yep.
That is something that gets sorted out this summer.
That's a tough spot. Yep. No, we don't want that. We really don't, but I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be something to have to stare at.
You have a Sandberg merchant getting paid a lot of money.
Yep.
Let's move in to the From Financial Faceoff, though. As we approach the midpoint here, what was the difference between the Jets and the Blues on this night? What leads to the 3-2 result? Now a bit of a gap for the Jets on the Blues in the standings with a game in hand as well. Where is this going? What is your From Financial Faceoff? Let's get into it.
Let's hit it.
Thanks for calling the landing strip. You're on the air. What would you like to talk about?
Right on. We're opening the phone lines as well. 1-204-800-0409. 1-204-800-0409. Get on the line. Give us a call. Let us know you're from Financial Faceoff or anything else you want to talk about.
Mikey, what's your From Financial Faceoff here?
Right on. So I know we've talked about him a lot, but for me it's Eric Comrie doing his best Hellebuck impression in that third period. A couple of the really big stops just changed the tide, right? I think a lot of us started to hold our breath when St. Louis scored that goal because, hey, we've seen this one before. We know what happens. Scott Arniel told us they're a fragile group. But Eric Comrie made sure that he stood on his head, shut the door, gave the Jets the opportunity to make sure they got 2 points in this one. And, for me, that was just the turning point was the third period, the way that Comrie just, shut the door.
Speaking of that combo, Don Dawson goes, Comrie did his tank commander work when Helly was out getting the Jets into a tank position. Yeah, like I said, goalie controversy maybe. Rihanna says, goaltending is my From Financial Faceoff. Goaltending was such a difference between the two. If you just look at it from a numbers perspective over on hockeystats.com, Comrie essentially stopped 2 goals more than you'd expect based on what he faced tonight. And you would have expected Binnington to stop 1 more. Basically a swap of 3 goals there. And Tico Napoli goes there as well from Financial Faceoff being goaltending. Hard to disagree on this one. Big game winner. 2 goals in the first 3 shots of the game. Starts this one off in a way not ideal if you're on Team Tank. And then Eric Comrie on the other side makes 28 was it saves tonight? In a game where St. Louis largely controlled the puck, though for stretches wasn't as dangerous as you think. Goaltending definitely feels like the From Financial Faceoff. I'm going to go there as well.
29 saves for comms, but
29.
Even better. So, I think that's the right call.
As we move forward here, San Jose down 4-3 by the looks of it. So, you're not buying it that they're going on a bit of a run to the playoff spot? I know Huge Ass Vibes normally in our chat texted me after and said he's nervous. He needed to be calmed down. He thinks it's going to get tighter. Jets 4 points out. Where are we at, Mikey?
So it's all right. I think we can all take a deep breath. I think it's going to be okay. The Jets are still in 27th place overall. They're still 4 spots out of wild card 2. Even with these wins, even though they've swept the weekend, they've won 6 games in their last 10, they haven't moved anywhere near the actual playoff line, right? San Jose is in wild card 2 coming into today at 70 points, and that's with 2 games played in hand. Even though they're playing one right now, they'll still have an extra game in hand at 70 points. San Jose also 5-3-2 in their last 10 coming into today, which was tied with the Jets. It's fine. They're not going anywhere near that line. They're going to be fine. Will they end up passing Nashville? I hope not. It's possible, right? They're only a couple points out with similar games played.
Big one Tuesday.
Right, big one Tuesday. That's going to be huge. But in terms of actually getting into the playoffs, unfortunately, they're not in control of their own fate. I said this about a week or 2 ago as well. As much as they have to believe in themselves, because as an athlete, you have to get up and still play every fucking game. As the coach, you still have to coach, you would hope for your future, but Scott Arniel probably thinks he's out of one. So they still have to do their thing. It's just that they're not actually in control of their own fate in this, right? They need multiple teams, 4 to 5 teams, to crash out, right? To go on, 2 out of 10, 2 wins out of 10 runs, all of those teams all at the same time right now. It's just not statistically likely, right? The math doesn't quite work out for them, even if they stay on this really good run and keep winning 5 out of or 6 out of, all the 10 games and picking up extra points here and there. They may jockey up a spot over Nashville, but they just don't have enough time left at this rate to get into the playoffs. You need so many other teams to completely fall apart, and it's just not likely.
Come on, they only have to win 2 games.
That's right. It's only 4 points, said anybody who's never done math.
Over on Money Puck, they have the Jets at a 5.7% odds. HockeyStats.com updated post game has them at 11%. San Jose being at 56, LA 44, Seattle 17, Nashville 19. We're cheering for some Nashville points tonight. We're cheering for some Seattle points tonight. Toronto points too wouldn't hurt.
That's we want some Toronto points for the draft.
Yeah, if that's what we're looking at. We're looking at jockeying for the lottery odds at this point.
And the thing is,
it sounds easy, I think. 4 points sounds easy, but when you're factoring in games played, schedules, does Tuesday, Nashville comes to town. Does that become an interdivision can't win or must lose? Today was a can't win. There was still enough time. It would have been a nice loss, but it was a can't win lose. Is that Tuesday a can't win or a must lose?
Yeah, the Tuesday one's more important because they're ahead of us, right? A win with that one, and then you end up jumping them, and your draft odds drop even farther. And the thing about it is, so you know what the marshmallow test is?
No, I don't.
So the marshmallow test was a test that they gave to kids, right? You offer them, hey, you can have 1 marshmallow right now, or you can have 2 marshmallows in a little bit, right? Yeah. You know that one?
Yep.
The Winnipeg Jets are the NHL's marshmallow test right now. That's exactly what's going on here, right? Do you want to barely squeak into the playoffs and get absolutely crushed in 4 games and embarrassed? Or the more likely scenario is get, up a couple extra spots and drop your draft odds? Or would you rather see them have the higher odds to get that better player for their long-term success? It's so short-sighted to say, oh, no, every 2 points right now is what's going, that's what matters. When you have a step back and you look at the season as a whole, that's not what's going on, right? This isn't last year. They're not a President's, trophy winning team. They're not going deep in the playoffs. It's so much better for their long-term success, and I don't know why so many people are so selfish that they don't want to have that long-term success, that they're only focused on right now, have to do this right now, when it's just not a realistic thing, and I just believe all of those people are the ones that take the marshmallow.
I also want to say, I think it gets caught at loss. I don't know why this mindset still is in here 66 games into the season, because I know Q was really scared about this post game, was like, oh, now they're going to have the belief. They're going to make this run. Guys, through 66 games, they're 28, and 10, 500. They've had this belief. They were getting in that entire time. This belief has them bottom 6 in the NHL. This idea that there's some miracle run that is just owed to the Winnipeg Jets for having belief and hope. It doesn't jive with what we've seen. It's going to be okay. We got to be, hey, when we win, you got to act like you've been there before. When you're tanking for lottery odds, you got to act like you've been there before. You can't overreact to every loss. You can't, or loss in the standings. You can't overreact to every win that you didn't want to get. You got to act like we've been here before, folks. It's going to be okay. We got the line A pick from this exact slot in the standings.
Yep.
We're positioned pretty well, looking at games remaining. Schedule, again, we have one of the tougher strengths of schedules.
Toughest out of the remaining non-playoff teams.
Outside the Colorado game, we've only been beating the teams under us.
Yep.
It's going to be okay.
Again,
Settle in.
Go take a look at the teams that the Jets have actually beaten. None of the top 5 teams in the Pacific Division. 0 wins against them. The only wins come from the teams directly below or beside them in the standings, with the exception of the LA Kings. They have their number for some reason. Outside of that, they don't have any wins against any of those teams that are actually jockeying for playoff position.
Yeah.
Not only do they not control their own fate in terms of just the basic math, if you watch their play on the ice, I don't know what to you is inspiring that this is a team on the verge of being able to do something. It's baffling to me, especially yesterday's game, where I keep seeing people tell me that was a solid win and they did such a great job and all that didn't translate on the ice. We goalied the other team and stole 2 points, which again, in a season where you're a top team and you're just trying to bank points any way you can because you're fighting for number 1 overall or whatever. Yeah, I applaud those games because fuck it. You know, sometimes you're going to lose, but hey, you stole that one away and great. In a lost season, all that means is the rest of your team was really bad, but one guy was good yesterday. It doesn't translate to me, this whole thing of like, 2 points against the Avs means it's all ready to go when, the rest of their play is still subpar.
I see Tony over on Twitch is getting his balls tickled on this run a little bit. He's falling back in for it. He's going to let himself get hurt again if he wants to believe in it. Leaving that though, I think that's a good explanation. Where else do you want to go today? What stands out to you here, Mikey? I'm having trouble. These back-to-back games don't give a lot of time for build-up here.
I was wondering what you thought about, just because we talked about the playoff format the other day, right? Or yesterday's game. So outside of the Central Division top 3, no one in the West would even qualify for a wild card spot right now in the East. That includes the entire Pacific Division is outside of a wild card spot in the East, right? You've got 80 points right now coming into today. We're the 2 wild card teams in the East. The best team in the Pacific is 76 points coming into today. So I guess my question to you and my question to the chat and everybody listening, is the West in a slump, or are the big 3 just too fucking good?
I think there's a lot of bad hockey teams in the entire league this year. So I think what you're seeing, there's a few different things. So clearly the 3 teams in the Central stand out amongst everybody else. Pacific's a lot of garbage. Any of those 3 teams, like, this isn't the same Oilers as they've been the last 2 years. You haven't seen that big run-up from them that they've had in years prior. Anaheim, still top 2 in the division with a -11 goal differential. Vegas hasn't looked dominant through stretches of this season. They've been very fraudulent. Is Utah going to get the easiest pathway through the West? I do think what you're seeing right now, I think, is a bit of a changing of the guard transition period where you're seeing those teams that have been at the top are starting to age out. You could probably include Winnipeg in that if you'd like to. As these other teams are coming up, and there ain't a real elite group outside of what you think of, I guess, the 3 Central teams. I just think there's so many teams that are lacking key spots in their lineups that has created a bit of a mid all the way around, which is even worse about this season for the Winnipeg Jets when you think about it. When you think about the ambitions this year, in a year where the wildcard team might be an 88-point team and you miss, you should be sounding more alarm bells about how stark that drop off really was.
Yeah, 100% agree.
It's a tough year. Uh, I've ticked Tony off. I just want to let people know because he's fired up. He says, I'm not buying the Jets winning, you prick, you lying prick. When I start seeing him give the benefit of the doubt, though, got to get on him. As Parmaline says, the Pacific is just bad. The Ducks don't play D. The Oilers and Knights have no consistent goaltending. Seattle and LA just don't have enough scoring talent, and the Sharks are learning to win. I just think, the league's in a bit of a transitionary period when you look at the older teams coming to the end of their competitive windows.
Yep.
You see some of the teams in the middle trying to take that step. Utah may be the best position of them because they get to go through the Pacific. It's an interesting year. I'm curious to see how teams react to this year in the summer, though it's the NHL, so the nothing ever happens league. So everyone probably runs it back and sees who was really right about themselves next year.
Yeah, that's most likely what it's going to be, but it would be interesting to see, the shift start to happen sooner rather than later.
Actually, let's talk about the summer a little bit. Let's talk about the summer a little bit. So we had heard Chevy talk about the free agent lists and how teams are targeting players with term and how those free agent lists are pretty small. We see Nick Schmaltz go off the list, signing 8x8 in Utah. What'd you think of that deal?
I was kind of surprised that they did it right away.
I think that's one of those deals that's going to age really well in the current situation.
Yeah, especially with the rising cap.
Yeah, the 8-year term, not ideal, but they clearly got less AAV at a time where you're seeing big growth per year in AAV. They're going to be able to add around that core doing Schmaltz that way. So here's what's interesting. We talk about this maybe being a transitionary period for the NHL. We know what my intentions are with blowing this shit up and looking towards the next era of Winnipeg Jets hockey. I think there's going to be a few interesting things happen this summer. We're all going to be blown away when we see how much some of these free agents are going to get because there is so much available cap space in the system already, never mind with additional growth. And all these players are locked up.
Yeah.
There's going to be, again, this is an opportunity in my opinion, because of where this caps goes. I think you're going to see when this league was in a cap ceiling era, especially post-COVID, we saw most of the league were cap teams, whether they were taking on bad cap to get assets or they were a competitive team spending to the cap trying to win. Most of this league was spending to the cap yearly. With how much it's jumping up, the lack of free agent talent, and probably when you start looking at some of the numbers coming out of where the cap might go, business perspectives for small markets versus big markets, I think we're entering a time period where there's going to be a bit of a gap between the top 10 free agent spenders plus the teams coming out of a rebuild right now that have locked up their talent pre-spike here. And there's going to be an opportunity for teams that have talent locked up with term that are looking into the future maybe. All I'm saying is when you start to add up the situation the league finds themselves in, I think there's going to be teams that need to rebuild that will be paid quite handsomely for their talent. And Winnipeg could be quite the opportunity spot given the reality of where the league's going if they were to realize that it is over for this group. I think there's a window of opportunity the next 2 summers here.
Yeah, we've really seen that the Jets have a chance right now to take this in a couple different ways. If they double down and try to run it back with this current group, or right the less popular public option of taking a look at what the rest of the league is going to, where the situation is maybe for your group. We just talked about how there are 3 teams in the West that are absolutely, lording over, the rest of it, and they're all in your division. So maybe right now is the time to, let them beat up on each other and come back stronger. But yeah, it's going to be interesting this summer to see which way they take it, because you're right, they're going to have quite the opportunity if they wanted to use it.
If they wanted to use it,
that's always the big question.
Rylan Medwick on this topic says, Sharks and Ducks likely are going to be dominant in 2 to 3 years, seeing some of their young talent. Also mentioned, I think he left a lot of money on the table, that being Nick Schmaltz. I tend to think so too when you look at where guys are. I also wonder if he hurt Alex Tuxmarket, who's now the top guy on the market. Though supply and demand, that'd be quite the opposite. With this idea in mind, Real DFV says, get the N out of here. Niederreiter, Nemestikov, Nyquist, and Neil P. We're getting out of the N's. Time to dump them all.
I mean, Nito was fine before he got hurt. He was having not a great year like everybody else, but out of that group,
for sure.
He's absolutely, yeah. But out of that group, he'd be one of the ones that I'd be fine with because he still has the one season left. I'm not saying re-sign him by any stretch, but he still has the 1 year on there. That's fine. Everybody else, I'm with you on.
Again, I'm going a lot deeper than that when I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for another day. Anything interesting to look forward to this week around the Winnipeg Jets or the NHL, do you think?
Well, like you said, Tuesday, that's the big one, right? That's the battle for the basement. We're going to see who's going to be the bottom of the table. The Nashville Predators or the Winnipeg Jets. It's going to be interesting what happens in that one. Do they go back to Connor Hellebuck or do we have a goalie controversy now?
I'd give it to Combs. I give it to Combs at this point.
5-0 in his last 5, longest streak of the season. You think he would have earned it, right?
Hey, Sharks 4-4. Michael Misa, here we go. Get some points here.
That Michael Misa guy, he's pretty good.
Where'd they draft him again?
I don't know.
Could he be had for a Josh Morrison?
Oh, look at you.
Teasing that a little too early. Norm says no reason for them to cancel their tea times just yet. I wouldn't cancel them if I'm them. Yeah, I guess it's just down to scoreboard watching.
Yep.
I don't have a whole lot today, honestly.
No.
It wasn't the most enjoyable game.
Again,
in my opinion.
16 shots by the Jets. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you come away actually watching a game of hockey. Or again, I say it all the time. Take the names off the back and rip the logo off the front and just watch that as a game of hockey. And you're going to tell me that's a great game and a playoff team and everything's awesome and 2 points is 2 points. Like, come on. This was 2 bad teams. One of them had to win.
All right, buddy. Let's not beat up on it too much. I don't have a lot today. Let's go to the 3 stars. And let's go to the tank sim tonight. We talk a lot sometimes. Tonight's going to be the opposite.
We'll shut up early. That's our gift to you guys. Let's hit it.
3 stars. Who you got?
Right on. I see huge ass vibes. We gave him a little love earlier. Says, fellas, how we doing? It's time for you to call in. You're telling me on text you're gonna call in. Time to call in. Let's walk through this together, buddy. Because we're dying here as it is. We're dying here.
Phone line's open just for you, huge ass.
He does have a huge ass too. Sheesh. Rylan Medwick says, if they were serious about winning, they would go back to comms. But let's be honest, this is the Jets we were talking about. Hallie plays 10 straight now again. Hallie just beat Colorado yesterday, in which Hellebuck was the anti-tank commander. I don't want to go too far with it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go in to the 3 stars. Who's yours, Mikey?
All right, let's see here. I lost my 3 stars. Number 3, first goal in 817 days. First goal as a Jet. Gotta be Hayden Fleury. We got the highs, we got the lows. Look, if he wants to be giant tiger version Neil Pionk, and we get rid of Neil Pionk, I'll keep Fleury. That can be the trade-off, you know. But good for him today to get the, like I said, first goal in 817. That's crazy. For number 2 star, Morgan Barron, just had a good game overall. We talked about him again today. Got that pass was just absolutely wonderful. And then number 1 star, Eric Comrie. He's been last 5 hacking and not. So Comrie again, especially in that third period, put that one away.
Over on it looks like they got deleted. I missed it, but I want to say Rihanna had Shifley, Barron, and Combs. If I saw that. 3 stars for me. I'll go third star. Jordan Bennington doing what he needed to do for his own team's tank, not stopping Bucks. Unfortunately, bad news for us. I'll go number 2, Morgan Barron, because 2 big plays. On the first one, drives the slot, or drives the center, forces the D to react, creates the lane for Lambert, who finds Hayden Fleury for his first goal as a Winnipeg Jet. And that stretch pass to Kyle Connor was fantastic. There's also a big block shot, I want to say it was in the second period, on an odd man rush. So we'll go Morgan Barron, second star tonight. And first star, it's got to be Eric Comrie, 5 straight. 948 was it that I said early?
Yep.
6+ goals above expected saved in those 5 games. He's become our anti-tank commander consistently here. You need to lose those backup games and you're just not doing it. Eric Comrie, good for the lad.
Absolutely.
He continues to turn the tables on his narrative from earlier this season. Over on YouTube, Norm says 817 minutes or games. Who am I kidding? Of course, games. It was just days, actually. I think it was like 80 games.
Yeah, days.
But it was a lot of
817
press
games.
conference.
Yeah.
Ryland says Comrie 1, bottom 6 forward gets 2, and Bennington gets 3, being a wet paper bag on the first 2 shots. Rihanna's our Fleury, Shifley / Barron, Combs for her 3 stars. Real DFV's 3 stars. Comrie, Fleury, and everyone who spent time talking about this Sunday snoozer. Appreciate you. This was a snoozer. It was a tough watch. And we can't even get to an hour on this one today. It was a tough one. Huge ass vibes also says Comrie stood on his head though when he needed to. Definitely deserves a ton of credit on this one. Let's roll that tank sim today. Hopefully we go 3 straight wins on the tank sim leaving today. We'll be back Tuesday and we're going to dub an absolute must lose versus the Nashville Predators. So we're not gaining any positioning in the standings.
Yep.
Let's go to the tank sim and
Let's
get
hit it.
out of here on this Sunday evening.
3, 2, 1. Hey, look at that. Your Winnipeg Jets move up to number 2. They go up 4 spots. St. Louis Blues at number 1.
I'll take that trade off.
Yep. I'll take number 2.
The St. Louis goes Stenberg with his brother over there.
Ooh, can you imagine?
Right? Stenberg's brother's there? Oscar?
I thought so, yeah. Now,
Hey.
can you imagine though? Jets and Blues get 1 and 2 overall. You want to talk about building rivalries? There's a nice. There'd be a fun one to do right there.
There's a natural Central Division angle to it.
Yep,
I like that.
I'll take that.
I'd rather take first, but I'll take in either of them.
Yeah,
We get to the top 2. I'm happy here.
McKenna falls to us at 2, and you're set.
Absolutely. 3 straight. Stay hot, fellas. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sundays. We'll see you Tuesday, post-game, after the Nashville Predators come into town to face the Winnipeg Jets in what is, I think that's the last home game of this homestand, isn't it?
Yes,
Or is there one more?
I think that's the last one.
Well, we'll be back Tuesday. Nashville Predators, Winnipeg Jets. Absolute interdivisional must-lose for the lottery positioning. We'll be back Tuesday. See you then.
Right on. Good night, everybody.